Hello, all my international cuisine friends for Leslie's Liberty Galley Kitchen. Chop chop. For today, we are going cultural appropriation with Szechuan China. And today we're doing Szechuan deep fried snapper with a side of tofu and oyster sauce with fresh snow peas, still crisp, only cooked slightly, and perhaps a few mung bean sprouts added. Now I'm going to take this culturally appropriated peasant hat off, mixing with Eastern culture Leslie. This is going to be a complete cooking of the fish. And Ranger just stepped out, by the way, my sous chef. He gets to lick all the plates before and after, so they're wiped clean before we even start. He has no pathogens. I've had vets test him. He's absent of all pathogens or anything that can affect human beings or other living things, so he's fine. He gets to lick my plates whenever he wants. If you can't handle that, then you're not going to be able to handle the Liberty Galley Kitchen, because we do follow cross-contamination. We try to cross-contaminate everything that we possibly can here. I didn't get the second highest test score for nothing. Only my instructor did better than me. So, we're safe here, relatively speaking, in an already chaotic world. Before I begin, to take a deep cleansing breath, because an angry chef can't put out good food with love behind it. So I'm resetting right now. Since I do so many disparate different things, from going to those high levels of stress to my enjoyment levels here with you, to maintain some semblance of balance. A little bit. This is high fan. That's almost like an old DC-6 with the propellers that none of you are old enough to know that you have to talk loudly as though you're in a Mustang 4.6 or 5.0 just to hear the passenger next to me. But I don't really want to hear it smell too much gas, propane, so I'm going to turn it on. This burner, the pilots are already on. I'll give it a little breath to quicken it. It actually beat me to it. We can do it with the second one, although this for the oil that we're going to heat our deep fried sea bass in. Downsizing to van life. Vroom! I look forward to a new adventure for an old lady of 73. You can see some of the heat residual burnings of carbons and other things like that. I'm going to throw a little water on. I'll be right back. I'm not abandoning you. Stay with me, and maybe even Ranger will come back and give you his smile. He's 13. I gave Ranger his own doggy bone. Listen to that signal. Amazing. This is called 212 degrees or more. And you can see there's a little residual scum, SCUM in the bottom. I'll wash that off. So while I'm washing this off, I'll talk to you, because the washing off process doesn't take long, does it? As it's done, and I'm coming back to the stove. Any of you who know me will know I try to keep everyone entertained, including myself, because this is a mutual fun thing we do. So these are really big chopsticks. This is what you would use in a ceremonial dinner, like a Peking duck ceremony for Chinese New Year's or a wedding or something important for a state dignitary, of which there are a lot in communist China, even though they're under the guise of a free market system. They have a few Muslims up in their northwest portion that are basically slaves in not dissimilar to concentration camps, although I don't know if the horrors quite exceeded that, because we actually reached the full spectrum of Dante's 7 levels of hell back during 1942, 3, 4, 5. And they try to clear out everyone, but this isn't a food topic, is it? I'm sorry. I won't delete that, though, because we're a liberty movement, and we must remember the past for the sake of not repeating it in the future. That's all. We're not incrementally that far away, and I haven't even gotten the first thing cooked, but I did turn on the burners, and I'm going to lower the sound of the fan. This is high, and this is low. The size of the fan that I have up there in the loft looks like a small jet engine. Or else these are extremely loud. This is for restaurant purposes, as is the stove, as I had a bed and breakfast /inn, which means I could serve dinners as well, which I did, and they paid me dearly for it, as I've been a restaurateur in the past, among other things, a real estate broker in 7 states with my own companies. Legal and Ethics Committee, though I'm not an attorney, with nary a blemish over 15 years. Just as an aside, that we're all multifaceted. This isn't what I did only as a profession. I was a restaurateur. I owned a country French restaurant where I hired out the best chefs in the region who cared, and a great wait staff, of whom most stayed with me from day one, those who were competent, as I did give them menus and had them come back. And I tested them, those who didn't give a shit, like not being able to tell you the 5 elements of the First Amendment. Thank you, blue officers. What is going on here? Have you lost your minds? And it's not the low-level employees. It's where the fish stinks from the head. But I'll segue into knowing that today, our fish, the red snapper, which I have sealed up on ice, will not stink from the head, because I've treated it with care to try to keep its eyes as fresh and gleaming as they possibly could. Not as much as when they were living, of course, but we can only do what we can do. So I'm going to empty the ice and the extra water residual here. It's all wrapped up. I go to they descale it. They tell me now that those modern fishmongers count on those aboard ship where they catch it to do the descaling. So when people are trying to eat the meat, the skin on the back of, let's say, salmon, because the crispy skin is delicious, instead they get bites of scale. With this, you enjoy a deep-fried snapper that you're supposed to eat the whole thing, and you get bites of scale, because the fishmongers, sadly, by their policy of their regional markets, are told they don't have to or they can't descale for you. Hence, they lose the right to be called a fishmonger. They're simply a clerk who deals with fish produce, and we hope that they keep it fresh and sweet-smelling so you don't smell the fish market as you're walking up 50 feet away. And those are the ones I go to, and they're very pleasant. They're just not allowed to scale, and they don't even tell their customers that. Unless asked, world is breaking down on so many levels. Minimalism, and those fins are sharp too. Watch out for them, please. I'm coming right back. It's clean. Clean and washed. Washed and clean. Its eyes are okay. They're okay. I don't like to play with my fish. I do have some jasmine rice cooking here. No, it's not jasmine. True cultural appropriation, because we're taking something from the subcontinent. Other than that, I'd use jasmine rice because it has a nice little perfumey taste to it. Or any of hundreds of other rices, which is your favorite. I wouldn't use wild rice, which is not a real rice, so it's delicious and I love it. And we'll mix that with some brown rices or some white rice, just as a mixed rice. I love the crunch to it. It needs a little bit of extra water, whereas these general rices that I cook with, it's a simple 2-to-1 ratio, twice as much water as rice, the tiniest touch of salt. Sometimes you can put in a chicken packet for flavor, like this Goya product that I'm always suggesting only because it's so excellent. They don't pay me anything. I should send in for a license fee if they give it to me. It's that good a product. There's no point at this time in my life to recommend things or to pander to those who I don't have to anymore. Now I'm taking out the ginger first. This is fresh ginger. It's a Vint ginger root. There are other similar types as this ginger root. Can you smell that? Can you smell this? The ginger? It's a little sharp, but a little bit of sweetness. I could squeeze this and some liquid would come out. See that? That's what happens when you leave from your freezer to your refrigerator. It will get soft so you can get actually juice out of it. I do keep my ginger in the freezer only because I like to shave it. This part I left out a little while so it's shaving softly. If you take a knife or back of a spoon, you can take the outside, it comes right off, right? It's not hard. So this part is a little harder because it was a bigger piece and the mass of it helped to retain some of that iciness. It's more so you can actually shave it like it would a dried ice and it'll just dissolve in your dish. Or you can leave it in larger slices or julienne style, which are like, just set this aside for one dish. I'll get a few. This plastic cutting board has not been used for anything yet. It will be used for the fish. Normally I descale in the sink, so the mess is in the sink. But I'm going to do this here today before you. Put this ginger back in its container while this is still frozen, and I will put it away into my freezer. You can keep some in your refrigerator, just not all of it, depending on how much you use. It's very good for you. Keep you alive an extra 100, 150 years. All these things can keep you alive longer. Common sense, choosing the right mother and father, keeping a similar weight, especially the weight around your belly low, doing some mild exercises every day, and giving a hug or a smile on occasion, and getting a good night's sleep, and hydrating, and exercising, and moving those arms and muscles is a good thing to do if you want to live as healthy a life within the years that you have, as opposed to living an extra 10 and having them be suffering before me. And I've already put a little bit of water on this whetstone just to give a little sharpening, a slight angle, both sides. This is a bit of a rush job. It's already sharp enough. It needs more water. That's okay. We'll put through that. Smaller pieces will be for the SZECHUAN sauce. We'll put along a portion of the fish because we don't want to put wet things on a crispy fish. The worst thing that you can do after you cook fried food is to wet the top and then serve it. It defeats the purpose of getting the crispiness. When you cook your salmon, you cook it in a little bit of oil with the skin side down. And you can finish it by turning it off into a tablespoon or two of water or whatever sauce, tomato sauce that you're using. You can even use it as a one-pot cook by adding some asparagus or even some thinly sliced potatoes or Brussels sprouts, whatever you'd like, so you don't have a big mess. Now, taking these chopsticks out of the way, we're not using them. Oh, when you do take food from a common table, you take the blunt end, not the sharp end. You take the blunt end to pick things up so your mouth saliva doesn't get from the food. Everyone has their own set of chopsticks, so they can be responsible for knowing that theirs are clean. It actually came after forks and knives, which they already had. They found this was a more civilized way of doing it, which it is. And I'm going to cheers with a little bit of Sauterne. I finished the bottle. I have one bottle left to take with me on my voyage in my van. I had 2 cases of these half bottles of Extraordinaire 2001. It's like nectar of the gods to me. It's sweet. You can see there's a little left. That won't go to waste. And a good old bottle, like a Chateau Yquem 61, that'll turn a caramel color. And you got little crystals of sugar settling in the bottom. It's all edible. It's like the maple syrup sugar, only 100 times more valuable and rare. When you open up a great bottle like this, you're likely to be the only one on earth who's enjoying it. Cheers, enjoy this with me. A lovely sweet nose of her apricots. Sweetness. It's a tip of the tongue. And this open bottle would last 6 months or a year in the refrigerator. You wouldn't know the difference. It's not like a red wine. The tiniest sip takes over your entire mouth. Give it time in a few sips of greater taste, even touching your tongue to a ripe apricot, and see how far that individual taste will carry through your body and your mind if you focus on it. It's an interesting, fun experiment. Also helps us from rushing through our food. You don't have to have the knife and fork for the next bite. In the ready position, while you're already chewing, it's not necessary. Slow down, like I'm trying to do right now with myself and with you, because this isn't a rushed Liberty Kitchen today, as this might be among my last, or my last. One never knows when anything is their last. I love all of you who come to join me. Well, all of my 54 and older friends, of which it's almost 100%, and I love you for that. And I love the 15 or 20% of men. You're surrounded by 80% women watching you. Old ladies, wrinkled, getting more wrinkled by the day, but their wisdom is high. Don't forget that. An important adjunct, an asset, almost like a check and balance for the constitutional system. As are good moderators, please support them and support educational channels. If you have only so much time, spend it with those who further liberty, not diminish it. Calling someone a carrot or bread does not exactly attract someone who doesn't get it, the nuances of the Constitution. Get it. And we must be nourished and eat well and have some joys in life while we do it. So enjoy this with me too. If not, that's okay. I never get drunk, by the way. Just once, and I never wanted to do it again, as I do have a learning curve and like to be in control of my lips. I can't take much because my lungs are what they were when I was a world-ranked swimmer. Not a super swimmer, an adequate swimmer. Here we go. Say hello to my friend, the fish. That's as familiar as I'll get with it. Because we're going to do you injustice now, fish. The scales of justice, the liberty scales of blind justice. You see that? I'm lifting it up. It's like getting your finger under a fingernail. This way it's smooth. This way it gets rough. These can be downright dangerous and hurt. Like the back fins of a catfish that ever wants to get you. Try sticking your hands in a tank with customs. Catfish, sucker mouth catfish, the coolest things. So you can hold it by the tail. If this was a whole big long eel, you could take the tail around here and put a nail through the cutting board so you can get a good grip as you pull the skin off the back of the eel. All sorts of things we do. Butchering. We eat partially butchered foods in Western culture, getting a 20-ounce steak. In Chinese and much of Oriental, it's pre-butchered privately in the kitchen, so it comes out more comfortable way for the mind, knowing that we are carnivores. Some of our ancient ancestors were mostly vegetarians, the ones with the huge teeth and huge molars and big broad faces, the robustus of us, not the gracile, G-R-A-C-I-L-E, the thoroughbred racehorses that we modern humans are, that run fast, so fast we can run down any animal on earth, until it fatigues to the point it'll drop. You have to be careful, but it'll drop and let us slaughter it. And please do so quickly and respectfully, because it's sharing its calories for our survival. So I'm taking the knife, and I'm simply going like this. And you can see these scales go flying away. And here's some of the knife. Can't quite see where you can see it, but I figure you can at one point. And I will edit out these few moments, so stay where you are like a time machine. I'll be back before you can imagine with a clean and scaled fish. The magic of modern technology. My goodness, I can't believe how modern we are. 21st century, made it to another century. It's intense. Never would have bet on it or counted on it happening. All right, here I go. I'm scaling. I'll talk to you later. Go do what you need to do. But don't leave the camera. I'm not abandoning you. Give me the same courtesy. Thank you. I love you guys. I'm just back for a moment to show you what the clean side looks like when one side is descaled. And I took off this fin from here by putting a sharp knife into either end and then cutting it loose just for presentation. I like to leave the head on. You can see all the color left in the fish from its scales. There we go, and not scaled yet. Scaled side, not scaled side. Scaled side, the eyes can be a little fresher, but they're fresher than most. And the inside, as you can see, has been gutted. These are the gills in here. You don't eat the gills. The head part had a few more tough scales on it than normal. Most people don't eat the head. The meat in the cheeks right here is delicious. Cod cheeks, which is common in Nova Scotia, is a great delicacy if you ever head up there. They'll have a smile on their faces and go back to ask the chef if he wants to share any if it's not on the menu. The fish, everyone, has been descaled on both sides and cleaned. I'm still using this plastic board as I'm going to slice a couple of crosshatch slits on it. Well, first we have to dry the fish. If we were just steaming the fish, cooking it in a sauce, like a tomato sauce, then we wouldn't need to dry it. We just have to make certain that it was rinsed and clean. Dry out the interior of the body cavity. Make sure you get in there because we want everything crispy. Every last morsel. I leave the head on. A lot of people don't like it on. You can request that the head is facing you if you like. This is known as cornstarch. It's a magic thickener. It can be added cold to warm meals that are going on to keep it thickening. Flour you have to mix with warm liquid before you add it slowly. The benefit of flours and potato starches is that the thickness remains. As with cornstarch, it disappears as though you never put it in the next day. For instance, if you're trying to thicken a lobster sauce, a little extra cornstarch. This cornstarch is also a great thing to do with your kids. I don't know, adults too if they're stoned. You put it into a nice rectangular container that you can get both hands in, like you're making dinosaur prints or something. I don't mind getting my hands dirty, do you? I might not quite be the right show if you like your lobster, only with the tail and the claws and the rest can be thrown out. But you're welcome to stick around and see how the peasants do it. Just joking. I joke a lot. Not that I'm going to eat the gills, but this will just soak up some of the residual moisture, so it's less prone. That's not necessary. Got it in the cavity, shake it around there, because this will crisp up too. From its insides, we get two sides here, as there are often two sides to an argument, or a discussion would be better. Steelmanning in a discussion is simply slowing the discussion down and making your best efforts to repeat what you think the last point of that individual you're having the discussion with said. And if they can acquiesce that you are saying what they think that they said, and what you think that they said as best as you can with a human mind, then you can move on. It doesn't mean that you agree with each other's basic premises. You're just moving along step by step so you can stay with each other as the process proceeds, so you can learn to adjust and adapt to new information, as hopefully they will too if they're really open-minded individuals trying to seek solutions, of which is often a compromise necessary, as long as that compromise doesn't compromise our rights or our natural rights. That's not too complicated. So now we're shaking off the excess. Don't need the excess because it's excess. It'll only cloud up the oil faster, degradate the oil faster. Oil is expensive. This is not a cheap meal. So I'll remove the board, throw it in the sink for a quick rinse. I use the back of my wrist for my long-handled faucet with a gooseneck. I don't touch my fingers to other things like chicken or raw fish that might cross-contaminate it. On this plate that I have here, for when we get to cooking it, which will be shortly, put that plate away from the flames, of which we don't have any now. I'll turn them off. This way the board tends to not slip as much while you're working with it, to have a slightly moistened something under it, so that the friction and the cohesion helps protect you. Knives can be dangerous. Use a sharp one, not a dull one, please. I'll show you one of my quick stretch routines, bending over without bending the knees, touching the toes, side to side, stretch out the calf, Achilles tendon, the spine. Hello, spine. Are you spine or spineless? Or ambivalent? It's generally one of the three, and that can change from different time, place, and manners for all of us. Okay, I'm just getting this out of the way because I'm not going to use some of the rind, which we could for a little extra flavor if you want, not the pith of the rind, just with the back of your peeler. You take some away. Today, these mandarin oranges, appropriate name. I might save one for myself. This is a clean board, by the way. Wooden boards are safer than plastic boards because the trees from which they come have natural immunities. You just want to cut it and scrape it with sandpaper once in a while to get the cuts away. But the cuts in these wooden boards next to plastic boards with the same cuts from the same meats over the same period of time is much safer here than the plastic boards that get caught there. Use the plastic boards only for chicken or raw meats and things like that. And cutting boards for things that have no meat in them that could cross-contaminate and hurt us. Even hunters know that they have to cut the meat away and butcher it on the spot quickly and get the loins and the haunches and the important parts first, knowing how quickly they'll decay, aside from attracting the bars. When you come back for your seconds, the bars might be waiting for you. So we have these set aside. Just for now, I'll add this to the same bowl for the ginger. We'll use the oranges, of which I'll have one now, for decoration on the side of our plate when we serve it. This is how I store extra asparagus. It's a Bass pint I picked up maybe 20 or 30 years ago from the Walt Disney World English pub, which is the best spot outside to sit with their nightly fireworks, get your homemade meat pies. I've cut the bottoms off just a little bit so there's not brown because they don't know that they're dead yet. And in the bottom of this, I put a little paper towel with just a few inches of water so the roots are sitting on soil, or so they think. It's a mind game. Fresh bean sprouts in water. I've drained the water from time to time, perk them up a little bit, bring them as close to their original state of being. You can grow them from seeds or among the beans, M-U-N-G. Your soybean sprouts. You need a slightly warmer temperature. A cold kitchen will inhibit the growth and just confuse them a little bit. It's mostly just a watering, not terribly dissimilar of sprouting a marijuana seed that you may or may not purchase from an outside source or country, legally or illegally. It's not my business to know. I don't want to know. Don't tell me. I don't want to know too much about you. This is garlic I just smashed. This is a fresh garlic. You want to squeeze it when you buy them to make sure that they're tight. A firm pressed